I'm trying to put money in your pocket, that crypto wallet, that bing bada bing ching ching big profit. Even when the market's sideways.
I'm about to drop some hugely powerful alpha. And that's what they call it. They call it alpha, believe me. Okay? And not many people know this, but alpha means that I know big things, strong things, powerful things. So here's the alpha, folks. If you want to be hugely rich like me, you got to join and subscribe to the BLEEVESCRYPTO YouTube channel. You got to become a member because many people say, quite frankly, it's the strongest YouTube channel out there. It's fantastic. It's the best. So let me know what you think, folks. Funny Donald Duck.
I'm looking for ways to get paid. I'm checking my coins around breakfast, then again around bedtime. Bet this. It's not financial advice, but I'm always right. 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 Lady, and I got my shine. Money in my pocket, and we're feeling fine. Radio's loud, and we're playing Sublime. I think it's gonna be a good day, my oh my. I can't believe I made it this far, it's a miracle. Floating in the clouds now, used to be miserable. Never looking back since I changed my ways. I'm on that good life tip today. I'm looking for the good life, good life. Sitting on top of the world, I wanna be shining like diamonds and pearls. I want you to go there with me, girl. I'm looking for the good life, good life. Baby, we can have it all. We can make love by the waterfalls. I'm living that good life after all. Yeah. La da da da, good life, sitting by the fire. La da day, good life, feeling that breeze.
What is going on, everybody? I hope you're having a great evening. My name is Bleeves. This is Bedtime with Bleeves, and we, in case you didn't know, are still vaulting. We are still on fuego. The rest of the crypto market, it's collapsing all around us. The walls are caving in. It's all crumbling down every which way. But guess what? Volt is still vaulting. And it just keeps going and going and going and going. And son of a bitch, they must know I'm live. Anyway, so here we go. We've got a big night, and well, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. In fact, let's get into quite a bit of what's been playing out. Give me 1 second here. And let me get flipped over to what's up. And boom. All right. So pre-markets looking like trash because what happened a couple hours ago? Silvergate decided they were going to voluntarily dissolve. So what did that mean? Well, that means that anybody that was there is only going to get a percentage of something. But as a bank, they're just not going to be around anymore. And they apparently have enough liquidity that this is not going to need a bankruptcy. They're just going to cease to be, and then that's just going to be the end. And that's where Kraken comes in. Kraken has already moved in to kind of take the place of it. So why is the market dipping? Well, it's the sentiment, and it's the fact that that happened that's causing that moment of everybody doing a little bit of sell-off. Because here's what happens. You get that little moment where a few people are selling off, and you've got a tiny little sell down. And then what does that lead to? That leads to futures traders getting an opportunity and an opening. And what do? They start going after positions. And the next thing you know, these bears are liquidating a whole bunch of longs and driving the price down until it stabilizes. Well, now it seems to have stabilized right around 960 billion. Do we have another layer coming that's going to lead to some continued downside momentum? And I don't know the answer to that yet. It's going to take a little while before we really see how this all plays out. You can see here in the last hour or so, the market has started to swing back towards the upside. And by the way, 3 days ago, we were talking about a $286 BNB. Today, we're looking at 290. So it's starting to move back, and Binance is starting to recover. I think people are realizing that Binance is actually on a much more solid ground than the credit that they were being given to begin with. So market cap is under $1 billion or $1 trillion overall. 24-hour volume, 45 billion. And here's what is happening in the market. You can see right here, we have broken out. So we are in a downside. This is now a bearish momentum. And if we go back here and we really kind of start looking and breaking down what's been going on and what's been happening, specifically on a day, if we look at it on a day, then what we're seeing is that this is that double top sort of pattern that leads to the downside. And if you come back out over here, by the way, and you've got a lot of people, by the way, that are trying to convince you at this point that when you see that double top, when you see a double top like this, then that means you've got tremendous downside coming, and you see that right here. So this was our double top over here, and this was months in the making, by the way, not days in the making, but the end result of that was a move to the downside, right? And that's fair enough for you to make that assumption, especially when you're looking at it and you're seeing it in that context. But guess what? Here it was, and it pumped. 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 So when you hear people like, and first of all, let me just say for the record that when I look at someone like Gareth Soloway, I think that this guy is a very smart trader, and he recognizes strength and weaknesses in not only the markets, but himself. And I think that I think he's doing what he does when he thinks that we're in a bear market. Now, that being said, are we still in a bear market? That's what the question is, because, you know, if you see the double top right there, then you do see that downside momentum, right? But you see the double top here and you see that upside momentum. You see the double top over here and you see upside momentum. You see it, and it really doesn't matter. It just depends on which side are you in, bullish or bearish. Is it bullish or bearish momentum? Well, if we come back here to 2019, again, this is the comparison. And a lot of people right now, and we're going to take that, we're going to say that that's the spot right there. And this was that double move, and there was the double move right there. And then boom, we were off to the races. Now, COVID caused a little bit of a collapse, so you can't underlie that did happen. But at the end of that, here's where we ended up, and we ended up running up to trillions of dollars of market cap, all the way up to 3 trillion. So, you know, when we're looking at these things and when we've got, you know, all of this kind of playing out, then you really have to ask yourself, like, you know, what is the next direction? And he believes that the next direction is to the downside. So we have to at least be respectful of the possibility that we are on that. Now let's take another look and let's see what we think. And now we're looking at it from the boxes. Remember, I said that we don't have to do anything until we see these boxes break down. Well, now the box did break down. So that means that we are heading to a fresh low. So now we have to come over here and we have to figure out where is it that we're going. Well, if we stop right here at 21.5, then we're creating another red box. I mean, we can basically say that at this moment, we haven't really invalidated it because there hasn't been enough time. We've minted one, I think. We've minted one candle outside of it, or we will be. It's pretty far away. So I don't know that we're going to get back into we're going to get back into this position. So it's very possible that, yes, we are starting to talk about new lows. The liquidation of Silvergate has created a problem. And come over here and you can see liquidate capital to shut down operations, and they are liquidating their bank. Again, not bankruptcy. Silvergate has no outstanding loans nor investments in FTX, and FTX is not a custodian of Silvergate's Bitcoin collateralized SEN leverage loans. To be clear, our relationship is limited to deposits. So they are basically in the clear and just not going to be operating as a bank anymore, which is where Kraken comes in. So we're going to call that an even trade-off. Now we're going to deal with the liquidation right here. We're not going very far, I don't think. And then we'll see how that plays out. But moving over here, we saw JP Morgan today ends its banking relationship with Gemini Crypto. Now this is not confirmed yet. JP Morgan hasn't made any comment, but Gemini has been the subject of certain regulatory scrutiny by the U.S. SEC. Subsequently, it appears as though the regulatory concern has marked the reasoning behind this severed relationship, although no official comment regarding the decision has been issued. The banking giant has first taken on both Gemini and Coinbase as customers in 2020, with the latter continuing to work with the banking firm. Now, remember, Gemini just basically trades 100 tokens and that's it. And it's the Winklevoss twins, and they've had public disputes now with Barry Silbert and Genesis for a little while. And of course, that leads to CoinDesk being involved because Barry Silbert owns CoinDesk. So there is a FUD campaign that's been taking place between the Winklevoss twins over a lot of stuff. And you see negative articles all the time in CoinDesk because of that. So, you know, it's likely that this does not play out to their advantage, but the end result of that is JP Morgan is severing the business relationship rather than continue to go on. Now, let's move on to some other stuff here because it's not all bad, even though we did have this dip, right? Bitcoin miners appear not to sell or care about price. Is this bullish? Now, this is the thing, right? Bitcoin miners need money in order to operate. They have liquidated some of their tokens, not in coins, not that long ago. So we do see that a lot of these companies that we don't think are now capitalized, and now they are suddenly not selling their Bitcoin. They're holding on. Now, why are they holding on? If they thought that the price was going down, and this is something that you just really have to consider and you really have to look at and put into perspective. If they thought that the price was going to go way down, they would be selling right now to get as much capital as they feel they would need until such time as there's a reversal and the price is up above where it is right now. So consider that, and then consider this. They're not selling, which means they think the price is probably going up and not down. So I think it's safe to say, or at least consider, that this might be temporary and we might be seeing a little bit of relief off of it. And they might be more in tune, by the way. Remember, we're an Americanized channel, and my opinions are generally Americanized. As you guys know, I do pay attention to the Asian markets, but I'm not specific and I'm not sure what is going on with some of these Asian markets. So I don't know for certain that we're not going to see just some tremendous bullish sort of pressure coming out of overseas markets. I don't know that for sure. I can say this: Silvergate coming down is not a great thing, but if the Bitcoin miners are not selling, they know something that we don't currently know. Now, let's move on. Grayscale, Son and Shine left encouraged after hearing in the SEC case. Now, remember, if you guys remember, John Pirelli, who is a former Solicitor General for the Attorney General's office, he was the guy in front of this appeals court today, and he was the one arguing on the side of Grayscale because they have been denied the application for a spot Bitcoin ETF. Sonnenschein said the company has left feeling encouraged walking out of the courtroom, before adding that yesterday was another example of consistency in a discussion with the Scoop's Franklin Chaparro. It was the latest leg of a media tour following oral argument in the firm's case versus the SEC on Tuesday. For a long time, the SEC maintained a stance of no Bitcoin ETF products, which, while frustrating, was at least fair, according to Stephen Sonnenschein. there was no imbalance in the type of products coming to market. The turning point was the approval of a Bitcoin futures ETF by a fund group, Teucrium. Unlike previous Bitcoin futures products, this application was filed under the SEC Act of 1934. Approved Bitcoin futures products before then were filed under the Investment Company Act of 1940. The argument of the Act's additional protections didn't stand up after the Teucrium approval, Sunshine argues. He explained that Bitcoin futures are a derivative of the spot market, another focal point of the firm's argument. So, and generally speaking, the consensus is this, that Grayscale Bitcoin Trust is going to win this versus the SEC. And let's face some facts here. The SEC has not won in court in a while right now. Okay, so this is a great moment. So let's start to wrap all of this stuff up. First of all, we're looking at this move outside of our range, right? So now we're looking how much further down do we bounce off of 21.5 and do we start getting a little bit of support? Well, the first thing to consider is no matter what's happened, we've broken down and we're into our support area. So now we're going to wait I need another 3 hours for confirmation. And if we have 2 4-hour candles outside of this range, then we're moving on and we're going to redo this range. And we're going to just say that, we've just made a leg down. Now, the question is, how big was that leg down? Because when you look at this one right here, that leg breaking down was significant, and this one doesn't seem as significant. If you kind of pull this back here and you kind of argue, like for whatever reason, we were in between two different levels here. This level right here was kind of holding up for a while, and then we got into this area, and it looks like maybe it was just this trend line moving us back up. But this is where we probably should have been trading over here, right? So I do think that what that indicates, in my mind, at least in my mind, in my bullish mind, if you will, that things are not as bad as the way we might be feeling, because when I see this price come down and when I see this stuff happen, then I start thinking like, okay, well, we're probably going to hurt. We're probably going to bleed just a little bit. But consider this. Consider that we drop down here to 1526, and we'll look at this local number here, 1525.19. Since 1525.19, we've pumped up to 1540. And since 7 o'clock, 1 hour and 18 minutes ago, we've added $3 billion in capital back into the market. Now, you do have to consider that in the last few hours, we did lose quite a bit of capital out of the market. So I'm not saying that everything is fine, but right here, we look at Ethereum, and I'm going to stretch this out just a little bit, and let's look. We need 2 4-hour candles outside of this to invalidate this box, right? And you can make an argument that we've got one, right? But it seems to be pumping, so it is entirely possible that from 1540 that we close the gap here to 1543 in the next even few minutes. And if we do that, then we've just invalidated this 4-hour candle outside of the box before the candle even closes. So, and this candle is only 2 hours old and still has almost 2 hours to go. So to think that we can't maybe get another $3 or $4 into this candle and into this price here is probably, I don't know that that's the case. Now, I will say that this right here and this right here would give me cause to think that maybe this line right here is going to be defended. So, possibly we're not going to see that move back in there. So that's what we're going to be watching. I can't make a recommendation and tell you that I think it's going to pump back in there at this point. Now, with all of those things being said, we do have this developing right here. And, what we were seeing was a nice run on bone. We had been seeing some solid consistency on bone. And then the market started to collapse, and then everything started to reverse. But we do see bone still holding up at this level. But we don't see, by the way, a whole lot of activity all of the sudden. So it is entirely possible that everything that we thought we were going to get, everything that we thought was going to happen, that nice little big run that we were going to get in bone, just is no longer going to happen. But let's consider, at least when we're looking at this, we're at $1.68 right now, $1.6863. And by the way, I do have to say this. I've been looking at this for a long period of time, wondering why this 245 high looks like it does, because I can see it right there. And I can see that 4-hour chart. I can see it on the 1-hour chart, by the way. I can see all of these. And I keep thinking to myself, like, how is the price moving that much when there's really some positive information? There's positive stuff coming out of the market, right? There's positive, motivating news, but for some reason, we're not getting near the pump that we were before. And there's two arguments that I can make. The first argument was, well, people are a little bit annoyed by the fact that we haven't launched Shibarium in all this time, and maybe the positive sentiment has waned. But then I thought, you know what? No, it's everywhere. People are super excited about Bone and Shibarium and Shib. And then I go back here and I look at the trading volume, and all of a sudden the trading volume has just died. Now, if I scroll back here some hours before to like the day before, you can see like every minute there were 2 or 3 trades. Now it's starting to slow down dramatically, right? So I'm looking at that and I'm wondering, like, why, if there's so much trading volume, and am I seeing these gigantic candles? Well, I happen to be witness to this candle here, taking it to 218.90, 218.95 today. And when I did that, it was actually, let's go look at total ETH. It was actually that some dildo magnet was doing right here. It's a bot. This is actually the work of a front run bot, because you can see here, this front run bot puts in 152 ETH on a buy. And I think the buy was something like 18 ETH. Like, it wasn't even a big amount. We could go find it if we needed to, but I don't think we really need to. But it came in and it bought at this price here, and then it sold, and it sold 100 and it earned 154.791 ETH on the way out. So it's been scalping this the entire time, and it got in on a big buy and it made out like a bandit on that. But this is the reason. The actual settling price was no more than $1.80 at any time. Well, then I went back and I started looking, and it's the same thing every single time. It's just a scalping bot that's out here trying to front run people. And that's where it's coming from, right? So, I think that none of these big prices are really as important. And I said the other day that I think 245 is going to be a good number, based on the fact that 245 was the number that had been hit before. Well, now that's got me completely rethinking anything in terms of potential price movement and price action. So now what I'm looking at is, at best, $1.96 is probably going to be the top price that I would say is going to happen. That maybe we could see something along the lines of where we settled over here, 209 maybe. But all of this stuff up here, that seems to be just bots pushing price action up. So I want to say that, and by the way, we are pumping again, and we have been pumping again, because I'm hearing rumors that Shibarium might be launching very, very shortly. Like, we may even see it launching in the morning or Friday. So, we could see some last minute run up, but generally speaking, we're seeing that move back to the positive. Could be that it's wrapped with ETH, and that's why, because you're still seeing these, little sell downs and stuff like that. But if we see like a trickle or a tick up in the price movement, and we start to see a little enthusiasm start to dig back in, and we start to see a pump again in the Ethereum price, which again now is at 1542. So what I said before, we're basically going to invalidate this 4-hour candle outside with just a little bit more capital coming into the market. So and I hope, by the way, I hope I'm not boring and talking anybody's ear off right now, because this is just kind of, guys, I want you to know that I'm looking at all kinds of different things right now, and I want you guys to be as informed as possible. And it's entirely possible that this Asian market is looking at this and seeing this as nothing more than a big buy opportunity, because they don't give a shit about Silvergate, right? They just see the Americans are stupid again, and they're buying up low. And, at some point, Americans are going to stop selling, right? So that's what's going to end up happening. And then they're like, you know what, we're going to be layered in here, and we're going to have such a great position that we're just going to pump the shit out of this token. So, I do think that maybe they are thinking a little bit along those lines. So we'll close that out, and we're going to come back over here to Bone, and we're going to see if maybe the price action picks up. But let's really talk about what is going on in the world today. And God damn it, Volt is going out of its mind. Look at this pump just continuing. And this, by the way, this is the day chart. This is what it looks like on a day chart right now. This is what it looks like on the hour chart. Volt is going out of its mind. And let me also state, by the way, and listen, Volt Army, this is absolutely crazy, right? One of the things that's indicative of whether or not a big pump is happening, right, is the 50-day SMA being over the 200 SMA, right? And guess what? We are not even at this point on the 1 hour chart, despite this massive move. We have not even confirmed a pump, right? We have not even confirmed a move with the 50-day over the 200 SMA. But when that happens, that's usually a super, super bullish sign, because there you can see it right here. You can see it over here on the 4 hour. You can see it over here probably on the day. Yeah, you can see it over here on the day chart. You probably see it on the weekly chart. Well, maybe not on the weekly chart. Let's take one look and see on the 1 week. Do we have it? No, we don't have it. We don't actually have it on the week. There's not enough week for it. Oh well. So we don't have it there, but we do have it on everything else, and we're going to get it on the 1 hour, and that 1 hour is a good indicator. Wait a minute. All right, did you guys just see that? I'm not crazy, right? Like, we just saw that this was not over, and now it's over. So, all right, well, oh my God, that's the graph for you. GRT. This is why you got to buy GRT stuff, and there we go. God damn it. This is okay. So look, I promise you, just a second ago, I was looking at this, and we were not over on the on the 50 and the 200, and now we are. So now I'm losing my mind here. Maybe it was the 50. Nope, it was not. It was definitely not that. It was, there it is. Look. Okay, look, guys, you're seeing this, right? Okay, this is not showing us. You can see it now, Kai. You can see it now. I fixed it. It's all fixed over here. Okay, now you can see right here that it is not over. Now I'm going to hit the refresh over here. And it's still not over. Kiss my ass. You know what? I was just looking at this goddamn thing, and it was over. So, oh God, now people are going to think I'm crazy. Like, people are going to think I'm just, God damn it. All right. Well, anyway, so we're not over. So I am right. I'm not crazy. This is not over. So this goes over, then that means that the price should, realistically speaking, start to skyrocket just a little bit. So be looking for that. And while we're talking about that, look at the bet over here. The bet just went on a nice little spike. Now, this spike is only for this day right here. And it's because bet is moving to the Arbitrum network. Look, the bet is where you go to make player-to-player wagers against one another on all kinds of different games. And the DApp did not work as well as it should have when it came out, so they pulled it back down, and they're reworking it just a little bit and enhancing it. But the bet is a player versus player sports betting platform designed for Web3. By removing complex odds calculation, we eliminate bookies from the equation, and this is just you against somebody else. The odds are determined by the use of independent liquidity pools. So the app is going to be relaunched again very soon, and it's going to be through Arbitrum. So you can see here the app. The app is not relaunched yet, but I'm going to be making content for these guys in the morning. And if you would like to check them out, you can go into Telegram. You'll have to get an invite from their website. It's the bet.gg. But if you're interested in wagering and stuff like that, then this is another one of those platforms that might just have a nice little run in it. So and it's pumping 22% in just the last little while. So, but anyway, back to Volt. Volt is at 2006. We've broken that 2000 cusp. Now it's 2072, which is the next big resistance point. So next few hours, a nice confirmation on that would be really good. And then to see it pump up into 2274. Now, to zoom back here, we were on February 15th already in this 22 range. So this is not foreign territory. So we're just getting started on this. Remember, we still have 5 days before the listing on Huobi. And we are not yet at the Ides of March. And I told you guys, and I keep pointing it out, there is more coming. So, guys, I think this is going to get big. And we are now back in the red. God damn it. All right. So we're not out of the woods yet, but we have just moved back into the red box here. We are not, however, in that red box on Bitcoin. We're still outside of it, and we have not minted 2 hours, but we do have a ways to go. We've got till about roughly 22,000 to get back in there. So sometime in the next, it looks like about 5.5 hours. If Bitcoin is not in there, then we're going to be redoing this, and we're going to be looking at a lower low, or we might just be looking at this box and we might just be spreading it out and saying, the actual range of this box is going to be up here all the way to down here. So we might just be expanding. I don't know yet. I want to see how it plays out before we really make any kind of move. But $5 billion has now entered the market in the last little while. So we are on that pump. Bone is back up to $1.71. SHIB is on a little bit of a run back up to 11.02. Remember, it was down to 10.90 just a little while ago. So when I say on a run, a little bit of a run, right? So we're not exactly crushing it and killing it. Shibarium is live now. So there we go. Looks like, let's see. Oh, by the way, this right here is how did the government allow this to happen was a fairly common response to the FTX collapse. But this is where we are right now. This double M that we're talking about, that we're saying is a bearish movement, just going back a little while ago. That's the disbelief moment right there. And somebody took the Wall Street cheat sheet, excuse me, and put us on the chart over here. And then over here, you can see here's where the disbelief is on this side. And what happens after the disbelief? Boom. Hope, optimism, belief, thrill, and euphoria. So we are on, and look, there's a whole bunch of people that have been giving a whole lot of this, saying that this is where we are right now. So I don't know that we are or not. I just know that a lot of smart people are starting to say that that's the case. Now, Garisaloway did say, and again, I respect this guy a lot because he's been a trader for a lot of years, made a lot of money. But here's what he did say, okay? And we have to put this into perspective. So, guys, you could just look at your wallet, right? Just look at your wallet right now and look at all the shit you got in your wallet. Some of it's good, some of it's one day going to be good, and some of it is Volt, right? So Volt right now, they're treating you like a champ. Volt is Volt's looking at you in the eye going, I'll treat you good, bitch. And they're taking care of you right now. Floki was doing the same thing 2 weeks ago. Hex was doing the same thing 2 weeks ago. They were treating you really good. You were getting a nice little pump out of it. Well, that's what's happening with Volt right now. But for every one of those, you've got some random shit coin that B-Roots shilled to you, like BC. By the way, for those of you that thought that I was joking with you when I told you that this was a gigantic turd that you were going to regret one day, here's BC for you. Here's BC. This is BC. This is old Bitcoin. Now, if you remember this, this was all over Jake Gagan's channel. This was all over everybody's channel. This was the one that was going to make you rich, right? You got absolutely wrecked and you earned every bit of the shit you didn't get off of this garbage dirtbag piece of shit play. That's all I'm saying. You got absolutely wrecked over here. If you weren't here at the buy-in at 2 or 3 cents, then at best you Anybody who bought in this area, any of these 4,000 almost holders who bought, and most of those bought up here, are absolutely wrecked right now because I told you don't buy this piece of shit. So, and you know, and then Proof of Memes should be doing great, right? Proof of Memes. Now there is a second Proof of Memes, so I would think that Jesus Christ is now called Pomeranian Proof of Memes. Maybe let's go with ETH 2.0. No, I don't think that that's what it's called anymore. Jesus fucking Christ, I don't even see. We do remember like Proof of Memes, right? Proof of Memes 3.0. Nope. God damn it. Wait, no, it has to be over here. It has to be over here because it was on one of these. Where is it here? It's got to be on here. Because I know that I saw that. Proof of Memes. There we go. Okay, WPOM. And it's Proof of Memes with that symbol right there. All right, so Proof of Memes. And to be fair, like this could end up being something really good, right? So here it is. It's the ETH peg. It has a liquidity of 44,000 and it has a total market cap of 100. So again, if you listen to these guys that are screwing you over on these tokens, God damn it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, God damn it. This was not me. That was not me. I'm not the one that put you onto these bullshit plays, right? I'm the guy that put you on to Volt. I'm the guy that told you at 2 cents, you need to get into NGN, who, by the way, just so you guys know, tomorrow, the team from NGN will be meeting with, I believe it's Tom Emmer. Tom Emmer, if you don't know, is the head of the FinTech committee for Congress. And that's who they're going to be hanging out with tomorrow and talking about the future. And not only that, but their AI is, while not ready yet, I do understand that they might have a little something that they could show us very, very soon so that we can see exactly what's going on with, excuse me, I still don't have my voice back, by the way, but we can see what they have working on their website, and then boom, boom, boom. And Angel, I have no idea what you're talking about, man. I might have, and I just don't remember it. But remember, I did have COVID, and that's like that's like smoking weed or something. I guess it made me forgetful. So I don't know which one it is. Yeah, Manny Fresh is right. The government is the biggest cartel, and this right here, just so you guys understand. Joe Biden did say that he wanted to raise the capital gains tax from 20% to 40%, and that will never pass. It will never pass in Congress because that will just get voted straight out by Republicans. Absolutely not. That's crazy. Stop stealing from the American people. That's not how you're going to continue to fund your pet projects. You're going to have to start defunding your military a little bit. You're going to have to start defunding all this different shit here. And you're going to start having to live within your constraints and your means. There is no way that passes, okay? All that does is screw a bunch of Democrats out of votes. Thank you, Joe Biden. You're making it easy for Ron DeSantis in 24. Oh, and speaking of which, don't forget the man. Don't forget the man, and make sure that you do what the man says.
I'm about to drop some hugely powerful alpha. And that's what they call it. They call it alpha, believe me. Okay? And not many people know this, but alpha means that I know big things, strong things, powerful things. So here's the alpha, folks. If you want to be hugely rich like me, you got to join and subscribe to the BLEEVESCRYPTO YouTube channel. You got to become a member because many people say, quite frankly, it's the strongest YouTube channel out there. It's fantastic. It's the best. So let me know what you think, folks. Funny Donald out.
And if you can't trust funny Donald Trump, who can you trust? Who in America, I ask you? Marjorie Taylor Greene? margarine trailer queen. Is that what her name is? I don't know. Lauren Boebert. Lauren Boebert graduated middle school. Did you know that? Now, we all graduated middle school, but then we also graduated high school, and then some of us went to college. Some of us went to some sort of technical school. Some of us went to a finishing school. Some of us just came out and started working and started doing our thing, right? Not her. Middle school. Done. That's your girl right there. But hey, guess what? She's not without talent because she knows how to get people drunk. And that's got to be worth something, right? I mean, come on. And then, guys, guys, did you not see the Ayanna Pressley? I don't know who she is, okay? Now, I do know that she's a member of the squad, whatever you call them, right? Jesus Christ. I did look. Chirpal was asking some of the dumbest questions possible, and then Ayanna Pressley came out there, and she was, oh my God, look. Okay, now look, I don't give a shit whether you're Republican or Democrat. It doesn't really matter to me. I think everybody's a bunch of idiots anyway. I think a lot of people are just kind of paid for and bought and stuff like that, right? Ayanna Pressley just started asking some of the dumbest questions that you could possibly ask to Jerome Powell, and then followed it up with somebody named Rashida Tlaib, who, look, what you're doing is you're doing posturing in your theater, and you're doing it for your people. And you're like, well, I work in a district where people don't have a whole lot of money. So why is it that everything that you're doing is designed to make poor people not have something? You know what I mean? Like in order for your economy to be successful, you have to get rid of poor people and make sure they don't have jobs. And he's like, no, like, that's not how that works. Like, and you can't explain it that way because, then somebody who I have no respect for because he's got the funniest voice in the history of look, how is John Kennedy from Louisiana not a Muppet, right? I mean, you don't take my word for it. Don't take my word for it. John Kennedy. All right, there we go. So there he is. How is that not the face of a Muppet? How is that not the face of a Muppet? I ask you, how is that not the face of a Muppet? Okay. And he starts asking the same questions yesterday that Ayanna Pressley was asking today. Isn't it, in order for you to do your job, we took our jobs. In order for you to not took our jobs, that you have to you have to do all of these things, and you have to raise these interest rates. And isn't it true? You're just trying to get a bunch of people on unemployment because you don't want them to have jobs. And of course, he has to do that because he is from a working class district. It was absolutely crazy. Like, how do you not read this shit? You know what I mean? It's just political theater and posturing, and these people should be taken out back. And God damn it, old Yeller. I gotta stop now. Anyway, so 4.4 billion in the market now. So we've lost a little bit of that capital. It's come back out. So we're now down below again, but we've wicked into the red right there. So we've invalidated for at least another 8 hours, 10 hours, this move. So it looks like we're in a decent position for at least the next little while. So let's go down the list here. WAGMI back down to 46.44. They're headed back down. Cannot support the position that they were in. Of course, the market tanks just a little bit. And what happened? The Jeets get to Jeeting because that's what Jeets do. And they start selling off. NGN 62.42, 60.99 and 62.42 over here. I think this one's going to be the right one over here. Did break a little bit of that support. Now, I did have that support level at 7.066, and I had it there because this should have been an area which would have held up pretty well, because you can see it was used right here as resistance and support multiple times. But we did have that breakdown, and you can see a little line right there, right at about 58. So it looks like that's going to be about the level of support for the moment. But again, it's very difficult when you have a brand new project to make any kind of reasonable technical analysis about where it's going, other than to say, it did this right here. And when you go back and you look at a bunch of these old tokens that have had nice little runs, they all do this. They have that little pump. They get that first pump, then they have a few things happen to them. They have that consolidation. They have that move, and you have to ask yourself, what was that move, and how did they sit there at the end of the move? And so if you look at these numbers, you're seeing a 0.618 on the right there. You're seeing a 0.618 move. Now, if that gets reinforced, then that means that the fib retracement will be starting, and we should be rounding ourselves back around and heading back up to an all new high, which you would expect a bigger spike the next time around. Now, it doesn't always mean that that's the case, but that's what it's looking like. And if it looks like that and it quacks, then it's a goddamn duck, right? So let's get this goddamn duck quacking. Now, by the way, we don't have any MACD information down here. It's still early, so it takes a little time for the trend lines and shit like that to start developing. So, and maybe I've screwed something up. Maybe I screwed something up, by the way. Let's go look and see if MACD is MACD is still active. So we probably don't have enough data to make a good trend analysis on NGN for the MACD. All we've got right now is the trend line developing. Maybe, I don't know. Let's close that pane, and we'll try it again tomorrow. See how it works. Oh, by the way, you know what? I'm not in Heikinashi. By the way, I'm in candles. If you moved it to Heikinashi, you would see a little bit different. You would see a little bearish trending here. So just so you guys know that trends a little different when you're looking at Heikinashi. So and somebody just sold again. Another what is that? Some little gross dude sold just like a little some little Jeet with just a little bit. Isn't it cute though? Anyway, so that puts us actually right into what I just said. So thank you, Jeet, for doing that. You actually pushed me right into the bounce zone. So now I would think that this is where I would call it that you're about to see a reversal, and you're about to see this thing start to bounce. So there we are. We're in that area where I think that's going to happen. So heading back up here, we got Volt at 2019, Bet still up 20%, MMAI at 3402, BRL at $1.15. BRL still having a little bit of a struggle to recapture some of that glory. Again, it's just somebody who had not, by the way, if you look over here, no buys, which means that they were just in the pre-sale, and that was just one of those holders that can't keep their shit together for a long period of time, that just ended up selling off, because that's what Jeets do. That's how it works. You do that, and you have your pre-sales, and you know that that's going to happen. You wait for that to happen, and then that's when you start to recover. SHIB 1098, Lillian 6105, Bone is up to 170 again, so it looks like Bone is pumping again. Kato at 1294, Saitama down to 1686. Saitama going down the long way, and is it not crazy that this dude's wife, I don't even know what to call her, Jokahanis, Crocahan, I don't even know. Like this, Ponzi's out here showing that she's like beating her kids, and just like, and I don't know any of that to be valid or not. And I'm not saying anything good, bad, or indifferent about her, because I don't know everybody's situation. I don't know her situation. I do know this. I know that her coke dealer was also her best friend, and her husband started messing around with her coke dealer, and he lost a whole bunch of weight, which I assume is due to just caffeine and exercise and not from the dealer. You know what I mean? But again, I don't really give a shit. But the market cap is down to 75 million again. And look, it's going to pump one more time. This is that moment where people like Rodney get a chance to dunk on Saitama and go, all of this stuff is happening. Ha, 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 ha. I told you it was going to happen. And then, they do that right there. And then the next thing you know, like I told you before, another something's going to come out and this thing is going to have an immediate reversal and you're going to be up 100% on whatever you're investing. You just got to find the bottom and just be right about that bottom. And then Saitama is going to move for you and you're going to make yourself a pretty significant amount if you're, if that's what you're looking for. But anyway, for right now, we're just going to remove that and stop looking at Saitama's numbers. Terra 2, 2602, no life, 7.78. Just sells. I mean, it's just, it's, there's no appetite right now for terrarium, and that's okay. That's okay. They've put themselves in a situation in which they've got an exchange now. They're creating revenue, a revenue stream. They're not taking it from this anymore. So all they've got to do is start to build that, reverse the trend, and then boom, this will start to move along with it. I have faith in the process. I have faith in the project. Here, what I don't care about is I don't care about a bunch of degens who are crying about it. And to be fair, I also don't care that a bunch of degens are out there, quote unquote, fudding my bag, because I don't value those guys' opinions anyway. Fuck those guys. You know what I mean? Like they're not worth being upset about, because at the end of this, they're gonna, number one, opinion not matter, and number two, they might be a subscriber to my channel one day. You never know. Which, by the way, Reigns, thank you so much again. 10 more subscriptions were given away this morning. So we now have something like 100 subscribers on this channel. And I want to thank each and every one of you. I appreciate you so much, way more than you even know, and way more than I can even say and talk about in one of these threads. But Wiz Protocol, everything's waiting for Pulse Chain when it comes to Hex. Decanect at 6.3 cents. Floki at 39.12. I don't know that Floki has a big reversal in store, so I'm gonna wait a little bit longer. I told you guys that 36 was gonna be my number, but with market conditions, I might take an opportunity and see if it doesn't play its way down to 31 again before it makes any kind of reversal. If it makes a reversal, we can always get in for a little piece of that pump. You know what I mean? So we won't get the whole thing, but we won't miss much. But if it comes back down into this 21 range, if it comes down significantly from where it is right now, then it is an absolute buy. Because guys, remember, no matter what, Floki always runs super hot. And if it runs and you get down here again, you're going to get 3x your money. So, and then Hex, I mean, guys, if you got into Hex when I told you to, then you're up 300% and you're like, God damn it. That was so awesome. So I think that pretty much covers it. Yeah. So now the only thing for you to do, in all seriousness, is to just watch Volt explode and pay attention to the market, because that's what's going to happen. And NGN it looks like they bought back most of what just got sold. Yeah, it looks like there was a little bit of a buyback right here. So you've got that happening. And by the way, don't forget, in case you guys don't remember this, and I want to remind you, while we're talking about NGN and Volt, another project that I am involved with is BRL. I don't do a whole lot for them because it's just not the time. But I want to point out that BRL has a thing called the bulldozer, and it does a tremendous buyback at some point. So you have to remember that at some point, that bulldozer is going to be activated and it's going to start buying up like crazy. And it's just accumulating, I think, at this point. Like, I don't really see a whole lot of bulldozing going on. So if that bulldozer is kind of inactive right now and it's just accumulating, then I think that bulldozer buys this price action probably back up at some point. So just a matter of time right now. And yeah, I don't sleep on this because if you remember, Modi is creating something that's going to be part of this sort of legacy and part of the project. And it's not completed yet, but he is almost, from what I understand, it's almost done. Just going through like some final testing, stuff like that. And that we should see it should start to manifest itself. And that means that this part over here, which is the important part, or should be the important part, if you're over here, is the staking. And I have 111 in USDC rewards. Remember, I already picked up like 54 a long time ago. So I have 111 more. You know, it's not a huge percentage, by the way. But at some point, when business picks up, and remember, you know, we're in a small market that's still going through the end of this bear stuff. So, but this project is going to pick up, and if it picks up and it starts doing double the volume that it's doing right now, then my number here would have been 222. If it does triple the volume that it was doing right now, which it'll do 10 times the volume, by the way, what it was doing. So, you know, I consider that the most likely outcome in that regard is that, you know, I stand to make quite a bit off of just letting my USDC sit there and continue to build and continue to build and continue to build. So that's the way I see it. When it comes to bull run, I'm not really concerned about pulling out or doing anything. Just kind of hold on to that and let it continue to work for me. And, you know, one day it'll be time to take that money. Bone continuing to pump, by the way. So we are still seeing Bone making that move towards the upside. So I'm going to go after this, and I'm going to start looking around, and I'm going to see if I can get some real information about Shibarium and not just some guesses. So we'll see what happens over there. But with that being said, I hope you guys got whatever it was that you were looking for out of tonight's episode. I am wore out. My voice is about to die here. This is not financial advice. My name's Bleeves. I am always right. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope for everybody's sake here, boom shakalaka, that you are vaulting. I did get notice, by the way, that I will have these on Saturday. The Vaulted Believer gear will be available. It is being shipped in, and it's going to be here on either Friday night or Saturday morning, and then I will be able to give some of these away. I'll have one for myself. I'll have a hoodie of my own. By the way, if you don't already, get yourself a Trivium hoodie. Why are you asking? You know what I mean? So we're going to have 20 of these to give away, Vaulted Believer hoodies, or Vaulted Believer hats. I'm going to have, I think, about 10. Jesus Christ, I don't even remember what it was that I got. So, but yeah, there's going to be a bunch of stuff. We're going to give it away, and then we're going to buy some more, and we're just keep giving that shit away. And look, y'all are going to be wearing beanies all summer long, and you're going to be like, God damn, it's really hot. But you know, also, I'm a Vaulted Believer. You know what I mean? So, thank you so much for tuning in, and we will talk to you guys again for breakfast in the morning, and hopefully we'll see a nice little pump.
I'm looking for the good life, good life. Sitting on top of the world, I wanna be shining like